Everyone, I'm Sachi and we are streaming live. So I request everyone to please mute yourself and the panelist can unmute as we go on this webinar. Thank you. Hello? Hello? Shobha ma'am, you can
Yeah,
start.
Sachi, we can start. Okay,
Yes,
Devika,
ma'am.
I'll hand over to you. Okay.
Thank you, Ma'am Shobha. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all. Namaskar, Adab, Sat Sri Akal. Invited guests, national, international panelists, heads of the institutions, delegates, I take this privilege to welcome you to the international webinar. Before we begin the program, I would like to request all of you to rise for SNDT Women's University song.
संस्कृता श्री पराशक्ति स्वर हमारा है। संस्कृता श्री पराशक्ति स्वर हमारा है। विश्व है परिवार भारत घर हमारा है। विश्व है परिवार भारत घर हमारा है। हम नहीं है दीन कहता कौन हम अबला। है सबल संस्कृति हमारी हम सभी सबला। ज्योति से जगमग हुआ अंतर हमारा है। विश्व है परिवार भारत घर हमारा है। स्वप्न ठाकर सी हुआ साकार है इसमें। महर्षि कर में तपस्या सार है इसमें। हम दिशाएं और ये दिनकर हमारा है। विश्व है परिवार भारत घर हमारा है। संस्कृता श्री पराशक्ति स्वर हमारा है। विश्व है परिवार भारत घर हमारा है। विश्व है परिवार भारत घर हमारा है।
Now I request everyone to please be seated. दोस्तों कहते हैं तोड़ना है हर पिंजरा मेरी उड़ान अभी बाकी है। तोड़ना है हर पिंजरा मेरी उड़ान अभी बाकी है। मंजिले जमी भर नहीं आसमान अभी बाकी है। लहरों का थमना नहीं समंदर की बेबसी। लहरों का थमना नहीं समंदर की बेबसी। बाहर खामोशी ही सही भीतर कहीं तूफान अभी बाकी है। Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Tarangan Alumni Association, Leelabai Thakarsi College of Nursing, SNDT Women's University, a very warm welcome to you to International Webinar 2020, Evolving Role of Nurses, Present and Future. Light symbolizes victory over darkness and defeat ignorance. It makes the beginning of auspicious movements and events. I request Dr. Nancy Fernandez, Principal, LT College of Nursing, President, Tarangan Alumni Association, Madam Annama Prabhakar, our senior alumni member, Madam Shaila Bhalekar, Vice President, Tarangan Alumni Association, LTC, Madam Alka Kalambi, organizing executive body member, Tarangan Alumni Association, to do the honor of lighting the lamp.
Written about it so that it stays for
आइए चले अंधकार से प्रकाश की ओर, एक प्रयास अज्ञान से ज्ञान की ओर।
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा मृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
Prayer is not asking prayer, it is putting oneself in the hands of the God. So let us present before you the prayer dance performed by Miss Indu Paulos, nurse manager, PD Hinduja Hospital and Research Center. Can I request to play Indu's dance?
Is it visible, ma'am?
No.
रिक्वेस्ट होती ना मी इथे बहीण गेली ना, आता काय करू? कुठे येते? कुठे होती रिक्वेस्ट? पण येतात. कशी होती रिक्वेस्ट? जा ना, इथे तुम्ही बस झालं 3 दिवस एसबी आहे ना, एसबी ऑफ आणि मी तिथे नाहीच होती.
Thank you, Indu, for that lovely prayer song, dance. To welcome is to show honor. To welcome is to establish integrity. I now invite Dr. Nancy Fernandez, Principal, LT College of Nursing, SNDT Women's University, President, Tarangan Alumni Association, to open today's theme and address the gathering.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to each one of you. And thank you, Devita, for introducing me. Today, as we all gather, it flashes back these last few months that we have gone through. We have worked in challenging times and faced with unprecedented pressure. Each nurse has shown amazing dedication towards patient care and also reached out to the families and caregivers. Each nurse has provided a continued high standard of care and at the same time push the boundaries of traditional practice of a bedside nurse. Education is also changing from its traditional role. There's a continuous demand for having clinically competent nurses wanting from every hospital. As the critical mass has grown, it benefits and efficiency. Advanced practice nurses are of great benefit. If we want to be at par with other professions, we have to keep evolving and have new roles to play. Many of our nurse leaders have carved a place in the field of nursing which is unique. There are nurse practitioners. We also have nurse-led practice and nurse-led clinics. Just to name a few that I have visited, you have in Indore the nurse-led clinic in psychiatry, in obstetric, and in childcare. This is gradually growing. Nurse consultants and experts in the field of nursing have become more visible and need to continue to be visible. There are hurdles, which has been because of the traditional way that we have looked out at healthcare force by the general public. We need to be different. We do not need to be just an addition to the doctor when he's absent. It is this time now that nurse entrepreneur cadre needs to be encouraged. Nurses need to be encouraged to take up more challenging roles as they get more experience and as they become senior. Other than the traditional role, which will always be essential, that is the nurse at the bedside, we would like to see nurses right from the top cadre in the hospital holding every charge in the HR, in the finance, everywhere. With the entry of corporates, hospitals, more designations got created, which were lucrative and looked similar to professions from other streams. And therefore, today's topic is most appropriate. As nurses today are writing new history with the NMC bill around the corner, we need to introspect, analyze opportunities so that the future of nurses is much better and brighter. And therefore, our Tarangan's topic for rejuvenating every alumni, every nurse is organized aptly, that is, evolving role of a nurse, present and future. And I hope each and every member present at this workshop, conference, seminar is really going to take a message back home. Thank you for joining us in this session. Thank you, Devita. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Nancy. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. To begin with today's panel discussion, I would like to request all the panelists to be seated on a virtual dais. To begin with panel, this panel will be moderated by moderator, myself, Ms. Devita Nalaude, Tarangan Executive Committee member, LTCN, and my colleague, Ms. Kirti Zamdar, Treasurer, Tarangan Alumni Association, LTCN. So here we begin with the introduction of our panelist. We have our first panelist, Madam Madam Tankang Gomez. Madam is a founder and CEO, Signia Healthcare India. Madam believes in healthcare through collaboration, special focus on nursing leadership and critical care nursing. Madam is graduate in nursing from the Universal College of Learning, New Zealand. She has 38 years of career from bedside, India to abroad. She worked as a first nursing head to group nursing head of Fortis Healthcare Limited. She has a leading role in setting nursing standards and quality assurance in Fortis. She worked as a head of education at Berkeley Health Edu. She conducted high fidelity simulation training programs for doctors as well as nurses. She is a consultant to New Hospital. She has a role in setting up various nursing departments and simulation skill labs. She has started Signia Healthcare with its online learning portal. She is a co-chairperson of Task Force for Nursing Reforms of the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and member of Healthcare Committee. She is a founder member of Infusion Nurses Society of India. She is also associate member of Indian Society of Critical Care Medicine. She is a founder member and president of Association of Nurse Executives India. She has many awards on her credit. To name a few, in 2017, ma'am has received Outstanding Woman in Healthcare, and in 2019, she received Zee National Healthcare Woman Leadership Award. We welcome you, madam. Our next panelist is Madam Teresa Joseph. Madam works with Indian Revenue Services as an Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax. Madam is graduated from LT College of Nursing, SNDT Women's University. Madam has completed her Masters in Nursing from Government College of Nursing, Trivandrum. Madam has also done postgraduate degree in Business and Taxation from the National Law School of Indian University, Bangalore. Civil service training from Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, Mussoorie, National Academy of Direct Taxes, Nagpur, International Taxes Attachment at Netherlands, France, and Switzerland. She also worked in Indian Postal Services. During the initial career period, she worked as a lecturer at Government College of Nursing, Trivandrum. She has many awards in her credit. To name a few, Madam was a gold medalist for BSc Nursing in LT College of Nursing, and Madam stood second rank in the University of Trivandrum during her Master's Nursing program. We welcome you, Madam. We have another panelist, Madam Vandana Betton. Madam is a functional expert, SAP Security Queensland Health from Queensland, Australia. Madam is graduate and postgraduate of LT College of Nursing, and Madam's specialization is in cardiovascular thoracic surgery. Madam has also completed MSc in Health Informatics, City of University. Madam has completed Bachelor of Law, Practical Legal Training and Legal Analytical, Queensland University of Technology. She worked as a consultant business analyst, senior business analyst, change analyst in S4, and high performance analytic appliance. implementation. At present, she is working as a sessional academic health law at Queensland University of Technology. We welcome you, madam. To introduce the remaining panelists, I would like to call upon Ms. Kirti Zabdar. Over to you, Madam Kirti.
Thank you, Ms. Devita. The next panelist for today is Madam Jayashree Krishnakumar. Madam is director at JK Women's Hospital. Madam has done her MBA through healthcare management. Madam has done her MD through alternative medicine, lactation nurse fractional MBHS, and LAMES counselor. We welcome you to the panel, ma'am. Next amongst us is Madam Devashri Karande. Madam is RN, MSN and Diploma in Health Administration. Madam is a Director General of Quality at Sir H.N. Reliance Hospital Foundation, Mumbai. Madam is an NABH assessor since 2016. She is a graduate and postgraduate from SNDT Women's University, Mumbai. Madam has completed her diploma in hospital administration from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. We welcome you to the panel, ma'am. We have Madam Aisha Gonsalves. Madam is MSN RN, Nursing Informatics Specialist. Madam has from Penn Medicine Chester County Hospital, Pennsylvania, USA. Madam is graduate from LT College of Nursing, MSN from Walden University, and Madam is the recipient of the Daisy Award for Extraordinary Nurse. We welcome you, ma'am, for this evening. Next amongst us, we have our own Dr. Shobha Gaikwad. She is the Assistant Professor, LT College of Nursing, and Secretary Tarangan. Madam is coordinator for today's event. Madam has done a PhD, MSc in Nursing, and MA in Sociology, along with PGDEM. Madam has got fellowship in ISQA. Madam has published papers in peer-reviewed UGC Impact Factor journals. Madam is a PhD referee and evaluator at different universities. Madam has received various awards. To name few, Madam has received prizes for research paper presentation, concept map presentation at international and national conferences. Madam has received second prize for research guide at SNDT Inter-University Avishkar Research Convention for Best PG Student Research Guidance 2019. Madam has also received second prize for research guide at Maharashtra Inter-University Animation Research Convention for Best PG Student Research Guidance in 2019. We welcome you to the evening, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am, Shobha.
Okay. Good evening to one and all. Thank you, Ms. Kirti and Ms. Devita, for the wonderful introduction of all the panel members. Okay, so to begin with, Florence Nightingale introduced new concept to the nursing practice. Her contributions such as establishing the need for sanitation, recognizing dietary requirement, providing round-the-clock patient care, instituting triage, collecting statistical evidences, encouraging education, and promoting advocacy form the foundation of nursing. These are very important components of the nursing which are expanding, extending, and evolving further. Many changes are occurring in healthcare in areas ranging from technology to the delivery of patient care. So it is not surprising that the role of professional nurses continue to evolve. Nurses, they're not just at the bedside or anymore. Instead, they're taking on position of greater responsibility. Nurse entrepreneurs fill the gap in current healthcare delivery system by supporting the development of targeted products and services, enhanced technology, software, and safety system. They are not only a proprietor of business that offers nursing services related to direct care, educational, research, administrative, and consultative in nature, but they build the businesses to develop and distribute medical product or devices, offer patient care or patient advocacy. Through this webinar, we are going to understand the experiences, challenges on their transition from employment to entrepreneurship in the healthcare field. Let me call upon the dynamic Madam Tankan Gomez to come forward because she has spearheaded various roles in this particular nursing profession. Over to you, Madam Tankan Gomez.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shobha. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I understand that people are from various parts of the world. So once again, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. And thank you so much to the LT College of Nursing. And as you observe, probably I'm the odd one out here. I'm not from your college, right? But I'm not the odd one out because we all are nurses, right? So I'm not the odd one out. So thank you so much for inviting me, and very nice meeting so many senior stalwarts of nursing, Dr. Nancy, Madam Panama, and Madam Kalambi, at least few names that I know. And I'm always very, very happy to meet nurses of all age groups, and the people who have traveled the path and who have reached some place. Huge respect for them for staying in that profession and contributing so much. And very excited to see young nurses, who are the future of our nursing profession in India. So without much delay, let me just pull up my presentation, and I hope I'll cover everything in 10 minutes time. Do I have the permission to share? Can you give me the permission, please?
Yes, ma'am, it is given already to you.
Okay. Because I'm not seeing the. Let's see. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, ma'am, we can see it.
Okay, great. Just give me a minute. I'll put it on the slideshow. Okay, are you able to see my screen? Hello? Can someone confirm? Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. Yes, ma'am. That will help me if you just do a little bit of, gesture. I'll know that I can see Kirti and Shobha. Yes, thanks to Kirti and I'm trying to remember Devika, the two anchors. Thank you very much. Doing a great job, and I can see technology working, so I'm very happy. So you can see the slide that is Signia Healthcare. That's my company. We'll come to it very soon. So a very warm welcome, and I'm very happy to be here. Sometimes technology bandwidth is a problem. That's why the animations, they don't work. Okay. So very happy to be on the panel, which is discussing evolving role of nurses, present and future. If you give me this topic, probably I can talk for at least 4 hours. But I'm today limited to share my story. So I became a nurse long time ago, even before many of you were born. So that was in 1980, I became a nurse with a lot of dreams to reach higher and do great things. That's how I started nursing. And the picture there was not very like this. Those days, it was not like that, nurses were not carrying their stethoscopes, and, they were not that confident. But I was fortunate that I could go abroad and work in critical care. And from then, I realized that critical care nurses can be a great pillar for critical care medicine. And I hope that it will continue. And when I came back to India, I found nurses feeling very shy to hold even the stethoscope. They restricted the stethoscope to blood pressure recordings. So I'm sharing these, little bit of the professional thing is only to encourage the nurses that if we can always be the holistic nurse who can observe and auscultate, percuss, palpate, and come to diagnosis. So we should not hesitate from doing that. So I'm proud that when I was a critical care nurse, I did not hesitate from doing that. So okay, so this next 10 minutes, I hope I can tell you all my story of almost 40 years. So it's not so easy to tell all of it in 10 minutes time, but I'll try to do my best. My screen is running slow. I think the bandwidth could be a problem. I'm trying to, oh, the animation is not working. I was, so you can see here in 1980, I became a staff nurse. I'm receiving the prize of being the all-rounder nurse. You know, I got a psychiatry textbook also that time. I hated psychiatry. I don't like, I love critical care. Okay. Then same year, I got the opportunity to become ward sister. Then I went abroad, and there I worked as head nurse and supervisor. And this was a milestone in my life when I became mother to my only son. And then I took a sabbatical for 3 years. Then I became nursing superintendent in Fortis. And that journey continued till 2012 when I was the first nursing superintendent. I got a blank canvas to draw up the nursing services of Fortis group of hospitals. And I'm very happy and proud that I could set up a lot of nursing standards and great practices. Okay. The animation is giving me a little bit of trouble. Okay. 2012, I stepped out of Fortis and I became the Executive VP of Education with Berkeley Health EDU. So after doing all this administrative work, I started learning high fidelity simulation. I got certified in high fidelity simulation. Then I started doing that simulation work, and that I did for about 4.5 years. Then somewhere I always wanted to explore more and do something more than the typical work. So that's the time I joined my friends in 2017 in Arohan Healthcare, and I became president of clinical services. So I got into consulting, mentoring, coaching, training, etc. Was extensively traveling and working with various groups of hospitals across the country. And then 2020, who came in 2020? Who was the uninvited guest in all our lives? Who came?
COVID-19.
Corona.
Yes, the corona dear. Now it's the corona dear. We are learning to live with that. So that came in 2020. And immediately in April, I started my work, everything online. During that time, a lot of reflections happened. And somewhere deep down, I always wanted to be my own boss. So this online experience taught me that, maybe I can do these things alone. So my brother and my son, who is now 22, he's an engineer. So when I was sharing with them, especially my brother, who is an entrepreneur, he asked me one question. He asked me, Didi, what do you want? When you wake up in the morning, you want to decide what you want to do, or you want to think that what my boss wants to do? So I said, no, I want to be my own boss. So he said, then don't think about it. Take the risk. Just do it. So that's how on 1st of July 2020, I started my own company called Signia Healthcare. And so I called myself founder and CEO also. If nobody calls me CEO, I am the CEO of my own company. I'm very proud of that. Why I'm saying is that the dreams that we hold inside, make it happen. That's very important. I could have become a hospital head when I was in Fortis, because I finished a very high power leadership program when I was in Fortis, and they asked me if I want to be a head of a hospital, and we had so many hospitals, and everybody thought I'm going to put my hand up. I thought for a few seconds. I did not raise my hand. Then the CEO came and asked me, what happened, Tankam? Why don't you want to become a head of a hospital? I mean, that will be path breaking. You are a nurse. So I said, there is so much to do in nursing. If I step out, who will do that? So I want to stay back in the profession and do much more things inside the profession. So that's how I stayed back in the profession. Absolutely no regrets. And I am so glad, and I'm very fortunate that as a nurse, many blessings came my way. I think because I had been a great nurse. That's what my father told me. that, God will never leave you because you had been an excellent nurse at bedside. More than administrator, he told me you had been an excellent nurse at bedside, because he knew all the stories. I used to share with him the patients, the doctors, the environment, everything. I used to talk to him, So I'm sharing this little bit, it's very different. It is not intellectual, it is not academic, it is more experience of being a nurse who has been there for 40 years and is still excited about being a nurse. I don't think of retiring. I'm 61 years old. If anyone wants to know my age, I'm 61 years old. And I refuse to say that, I'm getting any older. I say I'm still 16, not 61. So I love being a nurse and being young and being excited, So this is typically a slide that tells, that you can have various, roles either in the academics or in the, services you can have. So I'm going to talk to you about some hatke roles that you can have. And I will also tell you about my story on the side. I do have a little bit of problem running my animations. So of course, what is on the left side, all of you know, and we have a lot of nurses who are sitting here who have gone through all this. And I'm very, very fortunate that my co-panelists, they are from very varied, background. Especially, I'm very happy to meet Miss Teresa. I'd been searching for IAS officers, nurses who have become IAS officers. I wanted to interview them. I wanted to make their video, put it on my, YouTube, just so that, more nurses can come and, see. But today, thanks to Dr. Shobha that, she invited me. So I'm able to meet so many young nurses and plus stalwarts and the people who have done something very different. I have only one little thing, because we have CEOs, nurses who are CEOs, COOs, and some of them, the older generation, they are very happy to continue to say that I am a nurse. But I have met few nurses who actually go ahead and do something different rather than nursing. But somewhere they kind of drop that nurse title. They don't like to share, to say that I was a nurse and this is what it helped me to be what I am today. I really hope that, and appeal to everyone that please do not take away your foundation, the root on which, we are building all our stories of knowledge and experience, etc. I don't think that I'll ever stop saying that, I did not gain being a nurse. Yes. So that is my appeal to each one of you. So let me go ahead. I had been in one of the college talking to new nurses who just starting their nursing education. So I collected these photos, so I thought I will show them here also. They are actually a couple of, nurses who became nurse practitioners for the first time. They graduated, So I just thought, it may be a good idea to say that now that has become a reality. We had been talking about being a nurse practitioner. So that is Jasmine. I think she's from Belgaum in Karnataka. I think she works where Dr. Sudha Reddy is working. So can you imagine if someone told me that 10 years ago a nurse could be putting a jugular line or a subclavian line, we would have thought, can it happen? But they have been trained and they are doing such invasive procedures, and they will continue to be nurse and they'll be championing, being a nurse. So I do have a problem. Let me just go back. Let me not miss any photos that I'm trying to show you. Chandramaya is another nurse practitioner from the same setup. And we have on the right side, we have Ajitab, who has become clinical and scientific affairs head of North India in 3M India. We know the company. Why I'm showing this photo, just to say that the variety of opportunity a nurse has in today's day and time, it is really commendable. And maybe you know her. She's Rachel. She's an independent stoma nurse from Mumbai. I have not met her. I stumbled on her through a YouTube. I found her number. I reached out to her, and she's independent, and she's being called by doctors to educate their, patients. So it is possible. If you want, you can be whatever you want by being a nurse. Arun is a clinical manager at Molinke Healthcare. So that's another company. And Rinzin, she's in Delhi, and she's the deputy nursing head, home care company. So you have a variety of opportunities that can happen. And now coming back to my story. So we all talk about following our passion. Now, passion is not just a feeling inside. I think passion is an outcome. Passion is a love for the journey, and that is the passion that had driven me to whatever that I am doing now. And I tell my son, it is not yet my destination, because there is so much more to do. So that passion, what today I want to share is, passion is actually action. Passion without action has got absolutely no meaning. We can say that I'm passionate about whatever. I'm passionate about writing, and if I don't write, then the passion is no use, because there is nothing to be shown as an outcome. Simon Sinek is a great author, and I follow him very closely, and he has brought about a huge change in the leadership thought process. So that's one of my very key areas, is the leadership development among nurses. So what happened is that from there, I shifted my entire thing in Signia Healthcare to being an entrepreneur, training people on leadership and critical care. They are my two very domains that I am focused on. Now, this screenshot that you are seeing is actually a group of final year nursing students from one of the colleges in South, where the principal asked me, can you do a leadership course for them? So I did the same course, but then I changed the content for young nurses stepping into nursing. From that perspective, they spent 16 hours with me, at least 8 days, or they came and they did this course. Why am I putting this here? Because timing is changing. The attitude of nurses is changing for good. I mean, that's really fantastic. And when these young nurses, when they step out being a nurse, I really hope that they will be already equipped with understanding what it takes to be a leader at the bedside. Because when I talk to a staff nurse, I have to explain to them what it takes to be a leader at the bedside. I would say nurses are born leaders. Who is a leader? Leader is someone who is responsible for somebody else also. So from that definition, we are leaders from the word go, because we are always looking after, more people. So under the Signia Healthcare, you can see all these things are our, website and Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn, etc. Now, I have learned, I manage all this myself. Why am I saying it's nothing rocket science? Why I'm trying to share to say that I'm managing all this is to say that despite being 60 plus, I was not afraid of technology. I said, I'm going to meet it head on, learn, and make things happen. So every month, I will train a minimum of 30, sometimes 200 nurses, totally virtual. And that's what I do. And why did I do this? Because I want to do things the way I think is the best and for the benefit of nursing. And all my students are nurses. And once in a while, you may have a doctor or somebody else. My focus majorly is on development of nurses. Yes, I do some consulting, advisory when they, ask for it. I do some work with some companies. I do some CPR, AED trainings, etc. Everything virtual, because my son refuses to send me anywhere because I'm 60. So he says that you are high risk for corona, so don't even move. So that's fine. So this picture, when I saw, I thought we can spend 1 minute to understand that what should we do with our life. So I would say that what you love, Do you know the answer? What do you love? Do you know what you are good at? Can you match this to what the world needs? Then also think, nothing is charity, what you can be paid for. This is your larger cycle, your circles which are here. So these are the questions that I have answered. And I know that I'm getting paid for. And that happens to be my passion mission. So I'm in a very happy space. And that is connected to my profession and my vocation. So when they all, merge together, I think you are in a very sweet spot where you are happy. So like someone told that if you are in a job, that is also your passion, that is your mission, then you're not working anymore. You're enjoying your every day. I mean, when you get up in the morning, if you have to say, oh my God, one more day, that means there is something wrong in the space that you are in. So you need to think about it. There is no harm in changing course. And I will not say that everyone is destined to be a nurse, not necessarily. I went ahead, I would have stayed a bedside nurse in critical care because I love being a critical care nurse. I like the adrenaline, when you see things, critical thinking, diagnosis, call the doctor, get things done. I really liked it. But why did I leave critical care? Because there was no money. I became head nurse, and after that, I had to get into administration. But no regrets, administration also I thoroughly enjoy. And today, at least Fortis still continues to remember me, though I left in 2012. So I think that is another way to reflect on our life, that the path that we travel, are you leaving something positive? So to leave something positive, this is something I would love to leave with you, because this is something I believed, is that always learn from mistakes. There can be mistakes in our life, there can be crises in our life, and we may feel totally confused, like this picture on the left side. But can we be having presence of mind? Can we spend time to reflect and come out more cleaner, neater, with more intent, that I have learned something from this particular event or incident? If we can do that, then I think we are already poised to become an influential leader. If every nurse thinks that I am going to influence one more nurse, I'm going to teach one more nurse, I think our nursing world can become really, really better. And I left this because this is very, very important. Observation. Whatever level of education we have, if we cannot observe what is happening, even while here, I think we have 170 people sitting here in the audience. If we are not observing what is happening when each panel discussion is happening, or when you are lighting of the lamp, I said, wow, that is a very creative idea. Online, they are lighting the lamp, so I have learned something, how can I create that artwork of lighting the lamp? I'm already thinking. So I am also taking something from here. So that is being present in the moment. So teaching nurses to observe, having a lot of knowledge, but inability to apply is one of the drawbacks of nursing profession today. So I don't have a long time. I can even, talk for hours together. So that is under Signia Healthcare. I have a Signia Healthcare Academy. I have an online portal where I have free, courses, and I have also paid courses. We are preparing to put up more, programs over there. And on 8th of this month, we have a free 2020 American Heart Association's update, because they have pages of guidelines printed, very difficult for everyone to read. So I said, why don't I read and make it easy for every nurse to understand? That's a free thing. If anyone wants, I can share the link with Dr. Shobha, and she can share with all of you. And then leadership is another area of my very key focus. So we have a leadership academy. There are multiple varieties of leadership programs, which are all experiential. So if anybody comes to my class, you will not hear a single theory. You will not hear it. But when you go, you will know what to do. What to do when you go back to your working area, how to manage people, what can be done, what kind of, supervision I should be adopting, what kind of, training I should be designing for them so that my nurses will also do what I'm expecting them to do. So I'm a person who is sharing my experience with as many nurses as possible. And today, because of Shobha, I got an opportunity to be here. And I cannot leave the stage without talking about another passion of mine, that is Association of Nurse Executives India. This is a dream that I had in 2011. And finally, we could launch this association in 2017. And we are now 2020. And we have few of our members here. Dr. Shobha is one of the member of Association of Nurse Executives. And long time ago, I think it was Madam Kalambi, when I was in Fortis, we had another opportunity to interact. Even that time also I had requested that you have so much of research happening. We have so many hospitals with us. You want to do research which are evidence-based practice in hospital, which can be of use for patients, which can be looked up by doctors to say, wow, the nurses came up with a solution for a patient care problem. We are willing to, collaborate, associate, from Association of Nurse Executives India. So Dr. Shobha, I am leaving you with that thought that, let's have that relationship. If we can build, it will be fantastic, because India is a very big country. And, if all of us put everything also, it will be still less, because we cannot reach every single nurse in the country. And as Dr. Nancy told, the NMC bill is just come out. This is not the forum in which to discuss about the NMC bill. Let's put all our might. People who have not given feedback, please go and put the feedback so that it is more progressive. It should be a progressive bill that many of you sitting here will not have an opportunity to revise that bill for another 50, 60, 70 years. I don't know. At least I'll not be around to see that. But yes, so we have to play our profession to the best. And with that thought, I am going to say thank you so much once again. It was a very short sharing of my own life story. It is just 10 minutes. And I think I took a little more than 10 minutes. And thank you so much for that. And thank you, Shobha. And question and answer, you can put in the chat box. If I can reply, I'll do that. Let me not steal any more time from the next panelist. And thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Dr. Shobha, Dr. Nancy, and everybody else. Thank you very much for allowing me to share my story. Dr. Shobha, you're muted.
The journey of staff nurse to CEO of Madam Tankam is, though it looks very rosy, I'm sure it involves a lot of risk, a lot of challenges. So, as the key word ma'am has given us, dream bigger and reach higher. I'm sure all of us want to dream and then reach at the highest with all the challenges and the risk. Passion plus drive is what is required with all action. That is what is the success of ma'am's Hatke role and the influential leader. So I'm sure all of you agree with me in that particular aspect. Let us go to our next panel. Cracking an IAS is not a small feat, but definitely nursing helped, as in the word of Annie, the first IAS nurse. Nursing helped me a lot as we learned to deal with the public, take fast decision, have entire wards. Now this ward is the place which they are assigned to, okay, help the entire ward under us like an administrator. Civil services opens a door to energizing and exciting natures of job with difficulties. It is with years of hard work that you become an IAS officer. Let us hear from Ms. Teresa Joseph, her journey from a bright student to this very coveted spot of an IAS officer. Now I call upon Ms. Teresa Joseph to take on the stage.
Hello, good evening.
evening, ma'am.
Yes.
All my respected teachers, Avni ma'am, Parul ma'am, Anita, all my classmates. Thank you so much. I feel honored to be called as a panelist. I work in the Indian Revenue Service as an assistant commissioner, and I thought if I get an opportunity to share my journey of how I entered civil service with other students in the nursing field, I can inspire others to come into the field of policy making and administration in the government. In SNDT, sometimes I think just opposite SNDT, Aika Bhavan is there, and now I'm in Aika Bhavan. So yes, sometimes destiny, you cannot predict how it works out. I thought I'll share my journey, how I entered civil service. I did my BSc Nursing from SNDT Women's University. And for my MSc Nursing, I did my MSc Nursing from Government College of Nursing, Trivandrum. Now it was here, like there were many things which influenced me, or you might tell, like, which impacted my decision that I should try for civil service examination. There in the campus, whenever a new health policy was launched by the state, the health minister, the health secretary, they will come into the campus and then they will launch the policy or whatever the new initiative will be. So we would, we will be called as audience. So we will be directly saying whatever the new policy, whatever the health initiative will be launched, rather than reading it afterwards in textbooks. So it was during this time that I saw Dr. Usha Titus. She was the health secretary of Kerala at that time. And she would be speaking about all these health policies, how they'll be implemented it. So that was one thing which stuck me. Okay, like when you are in civil service, you are able to implement all these policy making decisions, etc. Then there was another incident after my MSc. I was working there as a lecturer. During this time, I got an opportunity to assist in Dr. Balraman Commission. Now, Dr. Balraman Commission, it was set up to, decide the salary for nurses, because at that time there was a lot of strike going on for salary of nurses. The salary is low and all. So that time I assisted in that commission, and I came to know about a lot of aspects. What is happening. So that was another decision which you can say which inspired me to like try for civil service examination. The third factor was that there were many people in the campus, both from the medical college and nursing college, who had entered civil service during that time. There was Anis Kanmani, there was Smita Mall, and there were many other people.
Sorry to interrupt you, Teresa.
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Does your baby require you? I think you give some attention. Probably I will request Shobha ma'am if we can request the other speaker to.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Yeah.
If that is possible, Miss Shobha.
Yeah, it is possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Madam Jaishri, are you here? Miss Vandana here?
Hello, I'm Jaishri here.
Jaishri ma'am, you are here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. 1 minute. Okay, we'll give Teresa some time to be with her kid. She has a small child at home. Okay, so just excuse us for that. So we move to our next panelist.
Ma'am, it's okay. I can speak. I can hold my baby if she's with me. I'll stop my video. I can continue.
Okay.
After all, she's a nurse.
Yes, okay, Teresa.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, ma'am. I'll just continue.
Yeah, Teresa. Fine.
Yeah. So, these were the factors which inspired me. And Trivandrum was a city where a lot of facilities were available easily. Civil service coaching and all. And that's how I tried for civil service examination. And I like to, if there are students listening, I like to tell them, if you have an interest towards newspaper reading, quizzes, all those things, if you have good writing skills, you should definitely try it. It takes a bit of hard work, but if you're determined, you can surely succeed. And yeah, that's what. and hello, you
Yeah,
able to hear me?
yes,
Yeah,
Friza, we
yes,
can
yes,
hear you.
yes. Yeah, so I first got into Indian Postal Service, and then I got the 117th track, and I had gone for Indian Revenue Service. I had my training at Mussoorie and then at Nagpur. And this is such a field, where after 8 years you can go for other fields. For example, Department of Health and Family Welfare, Women and Child Welfare. So you can go for deputation, registrar of universities. So this is a field which gives a lot of options, depending upon what your aptitude is, your liking is, which is the area where you like to work. So yes, that's it. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, Friza.
Yeah. And regarding preparation, I wanted to tell about civil service preparation. It comes in 3 phases. You have the preliminary exam, you have the mains exam, then you have the interview. So in preliminary exam, you have MCQ kind of questions. One is the general knowledge based one, and the second is aptitude one. The syllabus for both the MCQs and the mains exam, it is the same. So once you clear the prelims exam, around 10,000 people are selected for the mains exam. Mains exam, you have different papers. You have, polity, history, geography, economics, whatever the basics, the current schemes which are going on. Then you have an essay paper. Then you have to choose a subject. I had chosen public administration. So you have to write 2 papers on that. Then you have, there are passing papers for English and any one Indian language. After that, from these 10,000 people, around 2,000 people are selected for the interview, which happens in Delhi. The UPSC conducts the interview. In this, you have to have a detailed application form where the panelists ask you questions based on your detailed application form, and from there you are selected. And in this, you have different options which you can give on the services, like the Indian Administrative Service, Indian Foreign Service, Indian Police Service, Indian Revenue Service, Income Tax, Customs, Audit Service. So it is your choice where you want to work. And depending on that, you are assigned to different services. You have the training under which the government of India, undertakes for you. And yeah, that's my journey. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
Miss
and I
Friza.
wanted to emphasize, yes, ma'am. And many people don't know about it, that after nursing you can come into administration. Like for example, when I was at SNDT, I knew, okay, if I want to go abroad, I can write NCLEX RN, TOEFL is there, or for Saudi, another exam is there. If I want to go for teaching, I have to take my MSc. If I want to go for hospital administration, then MBA is there, Masters in Hospital Administration is there. But many people don't know that they can write, state administrative service examination, or UPSC examination. So that is something for which all the teachers should tell students, like if they feel any student has an aptitude for it, they should encourage it. Yeah. Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah,
Friza, we
yeah.
are hearing.
Yes, yeah, that's it. And it's very nice talking to everyone. And thank you once again for calling me. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Friza.
Yeah.
Definitely this journey from a nurse to the most coveted position in the Indian Administrative Service. I'm sure it is as Madam Tantam told, dream and reach higher. So you dream and you reach higher, because I remember I met Miss Teresa some years back in Kerala. That was the
Yes,
time
ma'am.
she was writing this exam. Okay, and she had already passed the exam, and then she told me, no, I'm trying to get my rank much higher, and she was writing the exam once again. Isn't it, Teresa? That was the time we met in Kerala. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And now she's in just beside us in Aikar Bhavan on a very coveted position. So definitely all of us would like to dream and reach at the highest, as we all can see. Now let us go to our next panelist, that is We all know nurse and lawyers are both important professionals that defend the innocent and provide for the defenseless on a regular basis. This particular transition into a legal world is a fascinating opportunity to combine this occupation by serving your community as both a medical caregiver and a legal consultant. Let us now hear from our speaker, Ms. Vandana Bettins, who has come all the way from Australia. Her journey in jungling this particular role, because definitely all of you have seen her particular biodata and have come to know the hard work and hardship she has gone into making herself as this legal consultant. Over to you, Madam Vandana Bettins.
Thanks very much for having me. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You want me to share your screen?
Are
you able to share?
Yes,
you have multiple participants, right?
If you're able to share that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for having me, and hello to all my teachers. I can see some of my teachers and my ex-classmates, and it's great to see you. So hello from Brisbane. It's about 9:30 in the night. So the only room I have available to me is my bedroom, because there was a big, huge spider in the study. So I've had to rush out of there and move to sit in the only one room of my kids are asleep. And so hopefully we can talk through some of the stuff that I was able to do primarily because of the excellent background and foundation that nursing gave me. So part of my slides, when they come up, is generally talking about the existing skills that you have when you graduate to be a nurse, because for the 4 years or 3 years or however long you take to become a nurse, you accumulate so many skills. Those skills include just analysis of the information that comes to you. You've got to make decisions in really quickly, and it impacts someone's life. There couldn't be more pressure than there is. You can work in a high pressure situations. You're managing constantly, you're managing your time, you're managing people, you're managing the patient's health. So you've been managing already, and say other courses like MBAs and all that would just add say a degree to your already existing skill set. Then you have you constantly have to understand your limits to which you practice in. So you have your the nursing profession and the vows you take when you graduate to be a nurse, and you go on and you look and expand that knowledge. And to me, it was the first step, which was I guess it'll be the first second slide I was talking about, is just the it was just I just put down a list of skills that we gather as nurses. So if people think that that we just do primary nursing, which is looking after patients and managing their effective care, we do a lot more than that. And we accumulate so many skills, and most of them, all of these skills can be translated to different professions or adjunct to your nursing profession. You can be a nurse and you can be other stuff as well. If you're tired of it's natural for intelligent people who are, and you'd expect more that all nurses are intelligent, smart people who are wanting to further themselves. They look at the existing skill set and say, well, what can I do? And you look at that and say, well, maybe I don't know anything else, but you do. So there's all these, you always risk manage. You see someone coming in, you are looking after a patient, you manage risk all the time. You're managing change constantly. There's a change in health, and you manage everything that falls out of it. The patient's relatives, the change in healthcare, change in treatment, and also the changes in staff around you, or the changes in medical professions, and understanding what their need is. So when I say business need, I started off and worked as a nurse for a long time, till I got to, say, I was in the UK at some point, and for 5 years, and the first thing was, okay, I just can't keep doing night shifts for very long. So what else can I do to expand my skills and do something else? And I started off with doing masters in health informatics. Now, health informatics is my primary role, with the legal end coming in a bit later. But health informatics is a study of IT in medicine. So there's IT everywhere, as you would know. That's electronic medical records, and designing of these electronic medical records is done by a bunch of nurses and a couple of doctors. The reason being, nurses know a lot more about how a patient care flows from the time they're admitted to the time they're discharged. And you would have a doctor giving, say, their opinion on something like, say, treatment or care, and it's very, very limited. So at least out here and in the UK, they've realized that the nurses are the backbone of anything in healthcare. So if you want to get an effective IT system which works and which sells and which people will buy, you get a whole bunch of nurses involved. If you look at big companies like Cerner, for example, which sell their software everywhere, they are in Australia and UK and the US, they are big, and they have nurses as project managers. They have nurses as change managers. They have nurses leading every part of the project, starting from understanding what is a business need. In this case, the business is your patient. When you say business, it's not the conventional, say, way we speak about business, like I run a business of hairdressing or something. It's just, who are the stakeholders? Who are the people you are working for? And you say, well, who knows them best? Okay, it's going to be the nurse. So you get the nurses, say, from every aspect. You'd say you get ED nurses, you get ICU nurses, you get all the different nurses, and you'd say, let me know what happens. What is it that you do? What are your observation charts that you maintain, and why do you maintain them? These are called requirements gathering. The only way you gather all these requirements, say in layman language, you convert them into an IT language. And so what I did in my master's in health informatics is to study all that. Study how to gather all relevant information, put them in a language which could be understood by the real IT guys. Now, like, I'm the go-between. So the IT guys are the ones who go in the computer and start coding this stuff. They can't do a good job, or they don't create a good product if they don't have a good person telling them what these requirements are. So this is how your nursing skills and your nursing expertise and your knowledge, without you having to lose that frontline care, you could still do that. So I effectively did 2 jobs for a very, very long time, because it was very hard for me to just give up something that I had worked really hard for. As you know, SNDT makes you work really hard. And so this technical expertise and communication skills, extremely important to get communication skills, because it's something written, verbal, the manner in which you speak, your bedside manner, all comes into really, really important skill. Because then when you go and do a project and you want to communicate to different people, you have this inherent ability as a nurse to sort of look at them and say, oh, I know that they're troubled, or I know that they're upset. I'm going to speak to them in a way upset them further, or is something that they want to hear. I keep my communication succinct. And those skills, when translated into a project sense, you become a very valuable research member. Now, a team member. Research skills. We all, most of us have had to do research in every part of our study. You just expand on those research skills in various areas. Then you go into law. Well, I was just interested in law for various reasons. I thought, well, you've got 3 main pillars of society. One is medicine or nursing. Nursing is part of medicine. When I say medicine, I don't mean doctors, I just mean health. Number 2 is finance, and number 3 is law. And there might be others, of course. People's, this is an opinion, so opinions differ. So I needed to understand law and how law impacts healthcare, and how can we assist people who are dying and want to die, who are at the end stages, and you want to offer them dignity, who are women who in certain states are not allowed to, say, abort their babies. What are their rights? You know, it's very, very, very interesting. And the laws in most even so-called advanced countries are very primitive. So, I guess I don't know what's in the third slide. I've forgotten, but sorry, Shiva, if you don't mind going to the next one. Oh yeah, so it was just the same as I talked about the health informatics. India is doing really well in terms of electronic medical records. I'd say that it's more private than government. I'm not an expert of what's happening there. I can tell you what's happening, say, in the UK or Australia or in the US. And Australia and the UK are similar in the sense that we work on quality of care. The US is a lot more commercial. So that means that you'd say, how much does it cost to fix his GI upset? Or it'll cost about, say, $10,000. Okay, well, we'll create a system that tracks the cost as opposed to, it has quality of care too, but I don't mean to just bring it down into nothing. But in terms of, say, countries where, like India too, where you have a mix of both scenarios, if the outcome is financial, it's really easy to design such a system, I suppose. If the outcome is quality of care, it's extremely hard because it's so abstract. So generally, you'll find that the system that you design as a nurse, as an IT person, I'm a business analyst, I'm a change analyst, and I work in Queensland Health, which provides, and I provide the business requirements, I do the business impact, what happens if a system or a software is developed, and how will it impact a certain group of people. And it could be anything from nurses on to finance guys, anyone working in health. So this course is, I did a master's, but you could do a graduate certificate in at least a year. I don't see when I talk about courses, I'll be talking about stuff here in Australia. And it's open to all medical IT professionals as well. IT professionals to understand healthcare. They're not being taught healthcare. They're just being taught information in healthcare and how healthcare is managed. Information in healthcare is managed and where it's stored, how it's analyzed, how it is applied. So for medical people, we go more the IT end of things. How does IT work? What is data? What is big data? How does it work all together? What is modeling? So the medical people get more of a bit of more of the languages or the IT way of communication. And we studied artificial intelligence modeling. So now these languages, like data analysis, for example, we have a whole bunch of data. You analyze it in the right way, you get the result you want. So you might want to see, for example, in public health, how much money should I invest, say, in anti-malarial, malaria prevention, for example. Let me look at 2 different geographical areas, have a look and see what the trends are, how many people presented, what treatment was offered to them, how many survived, how many ended up with chronic disease. So you would look at all this data. It's all collected all the time. You're filling in forms all the time. And you wonder what happens with that. So data analysis teaches you how to accumulate the data, how to make sense of it, how to give you, with the use of statistics, a probability that if you were to invest in, for example, malaria prevention in this area, you would see an improvement in healthcare towards the end of it. And that results in something called a decision support system. It's like a bot. It just tells you, if you do this, you get that, and you do that, and you get this. So it teaches us, at least a course did, teaches it teaches us how to create those bots. So for example, someone presents to ED with chest pain, then would be all the nurses out here would know, but there would be a workflow. There would be a way you would go about diagnosing and managing that. That if in a decision support system to say absolutely new nurse or a new doctor resident would be invaluable, because they would have to they could give you differential diagnosis, all the tests you'd have to do to check and rule out these differentials that come back with the diagnosis that you want. So that would be healthcare informatics. Sorry, if you want to go to the next one. So I ended up in 2007. This was about my research thesis. I used what do you call an artificial neural network or artificial intelligence to determine if patients presenting to ED with chest pain had chest pain of cardiac origin. That was my thesis. We used commercially available, say, mathematical framework. We have to train it with already diagnosed patients, and then we tested it with 60 or 80 other patients. And it gave me 89%. What it does is I feed it with certain criteria like age, gender, exercise stress test positive, t-test, troponin test positive, and all of that. And then I tested with 60 others. It came back with 89% accuracy. Just telling you that machines probably can do a great job in probably helping with admin tasks while you concentrate on the actual healthcare. And there's also this danger though when you are got computers, you sort of are stuck looking at your computers and you forget to talk to your patient. It happens to us at home as well. You're sort of on your iPad and computers all the time and you don't talk much to each other. So there's a lot of pros and cons on that one. And the last one was about me and law. I ended up completing and being admitted into law in 2018 and 2018. And I teach nursing students health law, and I take great pleasure that they are extremely interested in knowing, you know, where they shouldn't go wrong. These are the last year. It's a mandatory subject here, so I teach in uni here, but it's only as a casual because I have a full-time job and got 2 kids, and it just gets very difficult. The corrections or papers, I don't know how teachers did it or do it, but it just takes a lot of time. And those students, their main questions are about, what can I do that I don't inflict any harm on patients? So we've talked about children who chronically ill have got no further treatment, parents insisting on treatment, and the court jumping in and providing a decision. Then there are people who the states, like the state I live in, it's illegal for a woman to have an abortion, and they have to go to another state to do that. And we have a robust discussion about that. Then children's rights. I mean, you know, what are children's rights, and at what point are children's opinions taken into account? They're extremely interesting topics. And then comes criminal acts. It's how do you at some point decide if an act by a practitioner is criminal. So how do I end up doing that? Is just pure interest, and for the fact that I already had a very, very strong foundation by doing my nursing education. I think that the world's really open. You can do anything you want. Like I said, I don't think the list I provided in the second slide is comprehensive enough. You come with all of that. All you have to do is say, you know, what can't I do? You can just do anything. So I guess that's where I finish. I don't think I have any more to say, but I'm happy to connect with anyone, and thank you for inviting me here today.
Thank you, Ms. Vandana. Now, we definitely from Ms. Vandana's talk, we came to know that nursing, the 3 years program or the 4-year program, whatever different skills we are taught, that in any field you go, you have to use those particular skills. And this we have seen from our previous 3 speakers also. So do you like to do or perform detail-oriented tasks, meet deadliness, organize material, analyze data, and being self-motivated and doing solitary office work? Then if you do all this, then legal work might be right in your alley and your type. So definitely go ahead, and whatever Ms. Vandana has told you, you can go forward and look into that dream. Also chasing that dream is higher than your passion. So that is also an alternative evolving role which we can see as nurses, which we can take in this today world. Now we move forward and we come to our next member of the day, that Ms. Jayashree. Ms. Jayashree is a very senior person from LT College of Nursing. We all have been thinking about various leadership positions. I'm sure a number of us here are in various leaders positions, right from director to CEO. But what is Ms. Jayashree's journey is a little bit different journey, that it's not only from nursing to moving towards a director or MD in alternative therapy, as we have seen in this, the various, if you see, ma'am has recently also done, and she believes that learning is continuing, and continuing has to go lifelong. You cannot stop where you are. So definitely it's not a role only about title or money that it needs, but the impact that you make in the particular field. What do you hope to achieve and deliver, and what is the end product? That is what Ms. Jayashree believes in. So Ms. Jayashree, can we have you on the panel now?
Thank you very much for a real introduction, which I myself thought it was too much. Of course, I started my journey right after MSc nursing. I passed my MSc somewhere around 1987. And that time I used to live in Mumbai, and traveling was very easy. But then I got, as you all know, after BSc, after a certain age, it was my dream also to go abroad, work there. But being from a Brahmin family, marriage was something which was put on to me. And I got married just immediately after I did my nursing, BSc nursing. But then my husband was very supportive. He said, you should continue your master's if you're going to get admission into it. And that's how I got myself immediately, I got admission. And for all this, the person who motivated me was Dr. Sigamani, who was constantly, no, Jayashree, you have to do this. You can do this. You will do this. Even after marriage, I said, I've just got married. She said, no, you can do it. Another person, the big motivator in my life is late Mrs. Dr. Naina Poddar, who was my guide and who taught me to, when I was doing my research study, she was so much into it that she said, Jayashree, read every aspect of it, learn everything, know every minute detail, then only one can progress in life. And that had a real impact on me. The moment I finished my master's, my husband shifted to Dombivli, and Dombivli is in Zinthania's district. And of course, I was not used to traveling. So I said, I want to go abroad. I want to start working. But he said, no, Abhya, we'll start a hospital here and you can manage it. And that's what motivated me. I always felt that I wanted to be my own boss. And he was the one who encouraged me leaving the hospital to me. He used to go out operating, and he's a gynecologist. So at maternity, we had done midwifery. So I used to know everything, the basic maternity. My teachers, Mrs. Uma Handa, she used to really drill everything into us. Check this, check that, check this. So it was really into it. And I started doing antenatal checkups. I started conducting deliveries. I started managing a hospital. We started a hospital as just a 7-bedded maternity home. And slowly from a 7-bedded maternity home, we saw that I started giving little extra. I thought if I have to do something in my own field, I have to use my knowledge. So I started giving antenatal classes. Then I started postnatal classes. I started helping mothers with breastfeeding. I started them how to deliver, how to push during delivery. So all that increased our patient load. And from a 7-bedded hospital, today I have a 40-bedded hospital. And this hospital, I was not supposed to be the director. But what happened was, during the process of my process of learning, I thought if I have to start a big hospital and we have to get into it, I have to know certain things of administration, how to get about, because I cannot sit and do everything. So I did my MBA in healthcare management after my master's. Of course, I took a sabbatical of about 4-5 years because my children needed me. And of course, today they're all grown up and both of them are doctors. And I'm very proud. And they are the ones also who motivated me. Mom, you can do this. Mom, you can do that. And I did my MBA in healthcare management in 2012. After 1987, it was 2012. So a big gap, but I scored very well because of my knowledge, what nursing had given me. And the practical aspects, I used to speak to them. The management people used to only speak of the theoretical aspects, but nobody spoke of the practical aspects, what we really the patient needed. And that's how I scored very well. I stood second in the university. And from then on, it was never ending. After that, I said I should give more to the patients. So I thought I should do something in healthcare in alternative medicine. What else I can do? So I studied nutrition. I did my MD in healthcare in alternative medicine, so that I can give a holistic approach to the maternity and women care. And that is how I started with. Then in 2016, we started this JK Women Hospital. But before that, it was a very small nursing home. But then this is how I started my journey. But when I was planning the hospital, my husband said, now since you have done everything, you can plan everything. So every detailed planning, right from planning every room, the color, what equipments are needed, everything, I handled it all by myself. There were a lot of hurdles which I faced because they said, you are a nurse. I need a doctor for this, this mandatory regulation. You need a doctor. You cannot as a nurse do anything. So I said, why not? I have the same knowledge. So I have a lot of knowledge. So I started telling them about my knowledge. I started sharing my knowledge with them. And you won't believe it. Today, they give me any mandatory regulations, what are needed, certifications, without even questioning me, because they say, we know that you know and you're doing it perfectly. That's how my journey began. And to name it all, the hospital name, they said, what name shall we give it? Because our hospital name was just Kumar's Nursing Home, because my surname is Krishna Kumar. So I said, suddenly my son came up with the idea, Mom, why don't we name it JK, Jai Shri Krishna Kumar? Because you have been doing everything for the hospital, and today we work under you and you can become the director. And that was something really touched me, and I said, okay, I can become the director, and I do come here. I have a good team of people working with me, and I'm telling you, the nurse whom I've appointed and an administrator who I've appointed is a nurse. And I saw to it, because it is only a nurse who knows, okay, what a housekeeping job has to be done, where you have to hire these resources. So all these things, my MBA degree helped me with my nursing knowledge, and I could go further. Today, we are one of the best hospitals, and NABH accreditation also, we are into NABH accreditation. Our first inspection is over. Our second inspection is due in the first week of Jan this year, 2021. And I'm proud to say that ours will be the first small healthcare organization to be NABH accredited. And for all that, I have a very good team, and my team of people are people who have worked me right from the beginning of my career. That is from 1987 till today, they are working with me. Everybody says we are not getting old because you're not getting old. The day you get old, we'll also get old. So they say the way you keep learning, we want to also learn with you, and they all learn with me. They do very well, and I'm very happy with my team here. So any success, what I contribute today is to my team of people who work with me here. And with all this, of course, the knowledge which we give, we constantly have classes. I had one of my colleagues visit me. I don't know, you must be knowing Dr. Pratibha Chandorkar. She was the one who visited me, and she said, Jayashree, I didn't expect this from you. So I was so happy. And I'm really happy that my teachers recommended Dr. Shobha Gaikwad just to contact me, because when she called me up, I asked her, who gave you my number? She said, Dr. Alka Kadambi gave me your number. So I was so happy that they at least recognized that, yes, I had done something and that is what I have achieved. I just told my husband, now that I have achieved something, I think that's the end to it. But I just don't feel an end. Vilma immediately called me up. I think she is now the assistant principal in PD Hinduja College. She told me, Jayashree, since you're having a maternity home and maternity hospital, everything, why don't you do this lactational course also? So I got registered for that, and I used to go to college every day. And in between that, I had my son's marriage. So I was just wondering whether I would pass. And to tell you all proudly that I got 83%. And I was very happy. And Vilma just came and hugged me. And that was a moment I felt, yes, I can do more. So I'm ready to learn more, get changes, and motivate people to do more so that they go ahead in life. So that is why I also put a tagline to my hospital: women's health, family's wealth, and we deal with puberty, motherhood, and beyond. So we take care of all the aspects under one roof. I have planned out an IVF clinic in my hospital. I have an IVF clinic. I have a good OT, 2 OT with all the endoscopic equipments, everything. A small place like Dombili, which is far away. People say there is no good healthcare system in Dombili. But just come and see my hospital, you'll get the best healthcare. And that is all because of my nursing base, which I got, that yes, I have to do something for the larger group of people. When we learn nursing, it's just bedside, one-to-one. But when we have to give a larger group of people, you have to come higher. And that is why being a director, it doesn't cost, but I still go. I still conduct deliveries because sometimes some patients don't push or something like that, or they're not willing to, they are not willing to do anything. Immediately the staff and even my husband calls me, just come and talk to her. And I just go tell them the way we have to tell. We were taught, how you have to be very, very humble to the patient, just explain to them. And immediately they'll say, yes, ma'am, we'll do it. And they do it. And within 1 hour, the delivery is done. So that is how this is all has motivated me to do more and more. And I still want to do more and more. I thought I should speak to Shobha because I heard she stays in Kalyan. So it's not very far away from my house, far away from the place where I stay. And I just saw her degree. So I said I should be motivated from all the way from Kalyan. She goes to SNDT and she does things. The crowd and the train. Of course, at this age, I don't know, I am just 60. But as Mrs. Tangam said, age is no barrier. She still feels 16. So I too feel, I'm 16 and I have to work more. So my motivation is just don't sit, just being, learning only the smaller aspects of nursing, go on to the outer world and start learning and try to become your own boss. Thank you very much. Ma'am, you're muted.
Shobha, you're muted.
Thank you, Ms. Jayashree. It was a very motivational journey of yours. And now I know why Ms. Alka suggested your name to us, that you should be the one who is called for this particular topic. Okay, so ma'am has done everything from identifying problem, developing workable solution, resolving problem for our own healthcare facilities, offering medical and nursing education to patients, family, healthcare professionals, and healthcare facilities, and right till getting your own SHCO accredited. So definitely, I feel the next speaker will be very happy that you have got your SHCO accredited. And it's the first accreditation in this rural side of us. So, Madam Jayashree, we thank you once again for this motivational speech, and I'm sure many of us dream to be have our own director or do MD in further education. So definitely now this particular your motivational journey will help us to take alternative MD degrees also with our normal degree. So
thank you very much.
Now As we have seen, Madam's S6CO has got accredited, and definitely the role of the assessor is also very important now here, where we talk about moving from one particular position to another position. Now, the role is not that the assessors are facing or what they are doing. We have seen assessors of various types, that is NABH, JCI, NAC. They are the peer reviewers who assess the performance of healthcare organization against some standards which are laid down, or the organization and identify the opportunities to achieve this improved hospital. Definitely both on the employer side and the assessor side. Both the sides are equally very important and things. So I call upon our next very dynamic, young and talented Ms. Devashri Karande to come forward and take the journey. I am sure a number of people here want to become assessor because they keep telling we want to become assessor. So Devashri will be taking us forth on this particular ladder. Thank you, Devashri, and we give the stage to you.
Thank you, Shobha ma'am, and I would like to thank all the speakers of today and Tarangan, the executive members who have chosen me to speak today. Yes, Jayashri ma'am, it would be a real proud moment when you pass through the SSC or NABH, because NABH, at least in our country, in last decade has been termed along with the quality of patient care. So it would be a real proud moment for you, ma'am. I would be talking today on the topic on my journey to becoming a NABH assessor. It all started on the day I took this pledge, which I took this pledge to myself, to this profession. A little bit hesitant, a little bit confident. I held those thoughts and I said, let me complete this 4 years and let me see what is in store for me. So it was this day that kind of became a foundation for what I am today. And I know that there is much more to go. 4 years passed by listening to teachers and to many others about what are the different avenues you can opt for after you become a graduate nurse. I kept wondering, what do I want to choose? And with those thoughts, being a little bit confident after passing through the college, the 4 years, I started my journey as a novice nurse at the bedside. Now, this was an important foundation to what I am today, because alongside learning the true skills of being a bedside nurse, I also learned some key qualities or some key skills, or probably I sharpened some of my key skills, which are quite useful in my today's role. Today I work as a quality nurse. Today I work from a quality nurse. I have now moved into a complete quality professional, and I work for the organization where I'm part of the member of the team from quality. Accreditation is, yes, one of our functions, but there is much more that we do along with just making sure that we are up to the mark with standards nationally and internationally. I developed my curiosity to go into the details, looking at things more in depth, going to the deep cause, what is it that is giving this particular outcome. I tried polishing my skills of problem solving, critical thinking, trying to understand that there can be multiple solutions to the problem. However, it needs creativity, innovation, and deep diving more and more to understand what suits best for your situation and what is the optimal solution for you. I tried giving more and more attention to the details at the bedside, learning verbal, non-verbal clues that my patient was giving me, the environment was giving me. And believe me, today it helps me a lot when I go as an assessor. I tried learning time management at the bedside, prioritizing, making sure that I complete my task in a given time period. And importantly, I learned some of the superior interpersonal skills. Importantly, being a good listener. As I moved on to this as I moved on from a bedside novice nurse to a being little expert, I tried taking up many responsibilities. Remember that roles that you are able to see on the screen now are not the designations. These are, some of them are the additional responsibilities that I handle along with being a bedside. Along by taking care of my patients at the bedside in the ICU, I also tried helping the newcomers, being their preceptor, making them understand, making them absorb into the system more quicker. Tried helping my administrators, my managers, making and drafting some small policies. And it was then realized how difficult it is to put all those thoughts into your mind, to jot it down into simple words which can be understood and not misunderstood by those who are supposed to implement. In many of the projects, tried being the team leader, sometimes played a role of a teammate, then realizing how important each one of our role is into this multidisciplinary team, and how in the whole jigsaw puzzle, we need to become an important and a rightly placed part to make sure that the picture comes out to be beautiful. Tried gaining some skills of being an internal auditor, tried auditing my own department, the other departments in the hospital. And while doing all this, made sure that all these things where we do not leave the focus of patient being at the center. All this, at least make sure that for every action, for every policy that we make, for every process that we develop, patient benefits at large. Was groomed into the role of nurse leader, quality nurse, and as I told you earlier, now I'm to a complete quality professional, but still a nurse at heart. And I think that is what makes a difference when you have a nurse into this horizontal verticals which are developing and are helping directly or indirectly to your own profession. Now, this journey was not difficult. It was not very easy. This required a lot of hard work, a lot of commitment, a lot of time, sometimes a lot of mentors, motivators who played an important role into this, and alongside a lot of opportunities. One of the opportunities that were given to me by one of my director nursing or my chief of nursing was to opt for being a NABH assessor. By then, I had already got introduced to 3 other organizations where, being a part of the nursing administration, I have faced different NABH assessments. So it was exciting, and I applied for this course of this 5-day training. And you need to send in your CV after you make sure that you are fit into the eligibility criteria. Then they pick choose from your CV, and then you undergo a good 5-day training, full day training. Some of it is practical oriented training where they give you some assignments in the hospital. Some of them is a part of the group discussion. It is also, and at the end, it also involves you writing an exam. All this was over, and the day came when I started my first assessment as a NABH assessor. It made me understand that it's not an easy job. We were working throughout the week in our own roles into our different hospitals, or we can travel to another state, taking late night flights, going to another state, staying in the hotel. Next 2 or 3 days where you are supposed to conduct the assessment, you go to the hospital. Throughout the day, keep walking into different departments, observing few things, noting down few things, questioning certain things, and then coming back to the hotel with your other teammates, sharing your thoughts, making the report. At the weekend, after the 2 or 3 days of audit, coming back home after 3-4 hours of journey, maybe sometimes reaching at 11-12 o'clock in the night, and then next day being present in your hospital with the same energy and the same smile that you are expected to join back after a weekend's break. It was not easy, but believe me, it was fun. It was fun because being an assessor, it helped me personally a lot. It helped me by getting exposure to various hospitals that I went to survey for. Believe me, every time I go to the for the assessment, it's a mutual learning exercise. There are a lot of best practices that you get to learn from them, and a lot of good insights of how well can you place a particular process, how safer can you make a process is what you can share with them. It's always enriching when you come back from the assessment, and you always keep and you always sleep over the night thinking, oh, I learned something today. You get the opportunity, being the assessor, to network with a lot of colleagues across the country. Some of them are good clinicians, some of them are great administrators, some of them are great nursing professionals, and you are able to collaborate with them on a personal and professional front. You get to represent your profession, right from being as a part of a small team who goes to the assessment. You are representing your profession as a nurse assessor, to the platform where sometimes many of the senior nurse assessors are then given a responsibility to lead the team of assessors, and they are called as principal assessors. So you're basically going to the hospital along with the other team members. You're leading the whole exercise of assessment, and your say and your inputs make a lot of difference into the outcome that that organization will have into the accreditation journey. You get to represent your profession at different platforms that the accreditation agencies have, such as being the expert of nursing on technical committee of NABH, being there providing your inputs into making new standards, into revising the old standards, making sure how the subjectivity of the standards can be reduced, how well this particular thing can be written down so that there is less and less dilemma when it comes to implementation of the standards to the organization, to being the representative of your profession onto other committees such as assessor management committee, where you are helping the other young assessors learn into these standards, how to conduct the assessment. Also into the role of an assessor, into the accreditation committee, where along with the many other team members, very senior colleagues, you are taking a decision based out of the objective data that the team of assessors have gathered, whether this accreditation should be granted or not granted to this organization. It takes a lot of responsibility as you, because from in that whole crowd, probably there are only 2 or 3 of you who belong to the same profession as you are in. For the others, they take you as equal to the nursing profession. The way you present, the way you talk, the way you put forth your views makes them realize what the profession of nursing is. So it holds a lot of responsibility onto those who represent onto these different roles and go with the small assessment teams to being as a part of the committee members. Now, all this while what you do while doing the assessment, or while being part of these different committees, or being put onto the platform, onto this different platforms where you represent as a nurse assessor, is basically you improve directly or indirectly, you improve patient safety. You contribute to making sure that the country develops. Now, of course, although we say that the NABH assessment is voluntary, but many of these Mediclaim agencies, EGHS, and all these other programs make you mandate or give you a better recognition if you are part of the NABH accredited organization. Hence, it is your role when you go as either as an assessor or when you represent at a higher level into any of the committee members, that you ultimately make sure that you are building the system of healthcare which is more safer for the patient and which is more safer for the upcoming times. That's not the end. That's just the beginning. As I said, let me reiterate here that being the NABH assessor is not a complete career path in itself, but it is something that you take along or take as an additional responsibility, continuing your current role into the organization. Okay, so it's not like I am full-time NABH assessor, though very few of them do offer it. But as I told you, typically the assessments are on the weekend. So hence, many of us who are assessors, and I'm proud to be part of one of them. As you can see, this is just a team of assessors who are from the Western India. And as you can see on the next, the right-hand picture, so many of us are the Tarangan alumni member, being the ex-LTIs. Okay, so I'm just one of them, very young. I still look up to many of these people as my mentors, colleagues, and they motivate me by making sure that even if they have been at different hospitals doing the assessments at the weekend, they come back with the same smile and same enthusiasm the next day when they come back to their role at their organization, being into a nursing administration or other. So with that, I would want to leave you all with the thought that in the middle of difficulty lies the opportunity, as said by Albert Einstein. It's not, as I said, it's not easy to take up additional responsibilities, but believe me, it's fun, because who wants to do the routine things every day? Thank you so much once again, and I hand it over back to Shobha ma'am.
Ma'am, you're muted.
Thank you, Ms. Devashri. Indeed, a very transformational nurse, additional responsibility, I must say, and all the youngsters look up to it, because everyone, when we talk about them, each and everyone wants to be an assessor in some or other way, and they are taking up some other training to move towards that particular journey. But as you rightfully mentioned, the journey is not an easy task. Granting and not granting accreditation is not very easy, as I mentioned earlier also. And so assessor's role with your non-routine duties, I think it's an additional responsibility which your nurse is taking up. So she has to live up to it. And it's not only the journey from a nurse, which you forget your bedside, but moving as an assessor and then carrying out the assessor. And I've seen a number of this assessor doing the assessing and then coming back and joining duty and being on duty. So that is what is, as Devashri mentioned, you should enjoy the fun and not just tell that I am an assessor, but working for the patient is also very important. So with this, we move forward to our next and the last speaker for the session. As we all know, nursing informatics is changing the face of healthcare. As technology advances, healthcare organizations, providers are able to collect, analyze, and leverage data more effectively. They work with diverse group of stakeholders across the care continuum, ultimately helping to bridge the gap between clinical and technical perspective. So let us call our last speaker for the session, that is Ms. Aisha Gonzalez, who is joining us all the way from USA. So I hand over the stage to Ms. Aisha.
Thank you, Shobha ma'am. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Aisha, we can hear you and we can see your screen also.
Okay. Give me a minute. PowerPoint mein design.
Do you require any help, Aisha?
Okay, do you want to share my slide, please?
So I'll share it. So just close your slide share.
There's a button on the top. You can close that so Shobha can share.
To your right hand side, Aisha, that cross is there. Just on that, if you can click, has your screen hanged?
I think
go to file and then exit it.
Okay, okay.
Aisha, that red cross on the right hand side. Okay, excuse me. I'll share the screen now.
Yeah. Are you able to share my screen?
Yeah, I'll share. Okay. Aisha, can you see the screen?
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, LTC and Tarangan, for this lovely opportunity. I'm Aisha Gonsalves, and I'm going to talk about nursing informatics role. And Miss Vandana talk about hospital informatics role. Nursing informatics is a special and a different specialty in itself. So next slide, please. So many times people ask me, what do you do? And I tell them I'm a sweet spot between nurses and the technology. And also I tell them like I'm a liaison between nurses and the technology. So by definition, as per American Nurses Association, when you talk about nursing informatics, it's a specialty that integrates nursing science with the multiple information and the analytical sciences to identify, define, manage, and communicate data, information, knowledge, wisdom in nursing practice. Next slide, please. So I want to put this slide over here because I want everybody to know that as a nurse informatician, our main conceptual framework is based on data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. And you will hear recently many talks about big data and data mining and data warehouse. And this is where we as a nurse informatician play a vital role here. And coming future, that is going to be a big need of the society. So in data, we have like various information and various kind of data we can have, like simple, like height and weight is a data. It's just a number. It's just a naming convention. It does not carry any meaning. But then we need to transform that data into information so that we can do some kind of interpretation and we can organize the data. And then we have to build our knowledge. In this one, that information, we are more can organize and synthesize that information. And this is where actually we provide clinical decision support. And by saying that, I want to say that as a nurse informatician, we're not only touching one person at a time, but if you add a clinical decision support, we are touching many lives. And that way we are able to make a difference and provide quality patient care. And also over a period of time, there is a wisdom. And by having a wisdom, we can manage and solve our problems. Next slide, please. As a nurse informatician, there are many roles and responsibilities we play. And the previous speaker, she talked about the health informatics, but I would like to give a overview as how, as a nurse informatician, I can improve my patient care. So the big thing we talk about here is improving documentation. And we are big on implementing evidence-based practice tools. For example, as a nurse informatician, I had the opportunity to transition from paper documentation to electronic health record. Also, I was helpful in transition from one system to another system. We were using Sodian before, and now we transitioned to Epic system. Also, we are helping and assisting analyzing healthcare technology. Our goal is to provide high quality patient care with a low cost and better outcome. And we are always looking at how to make nurses' life easy. And that's why we bring in different technology. That way, nurses can spend quality time with their patient. We help in designing the system because I'm a nurse. I have a lot of experience. I've been in the nursing field for last 19 years. And that is my key because I know what nurses do, what are their workflows, and then I can bring the technology in so that they can save time and have a quality time to spend with the patient and family. We implement different technologies, and when that comes, we are involving in training our staff, troubleshooting, and escalating. We evaluate the success of the implementation and revisit as needed. And also, we can work as a project manager. I have led many projects where in my hospital, I have implemented like giving iPhones to our nurses. And with the iPhone, they have a different applications like Lexicom or SATA or Micromedics. That way, they can access any of this website and quickly look at the information or a disease condition or a diet or a medication patient can benefit from. Also, recently, I led a project where our smart IV pumps are now talking with our EHR system. So nursing doesn't have to program anything on the pump. You send the order to the pump, and then that will go to the pump, and then you're not saying anymore that this is the rate, this is the volume. Program and all the information is automatically appearing on your pumps, and then that information is going to your pain chart that way, or an Epic or a EHR system. That way, you're saving a lot of time for nurses. Also, as I mentioned, I'm a liaison between the staff and the nursing technology because I want to mention that as a nurse informatician, I know my nursing workflow. At the same time, I did my master's in nursing that helped me to learn the language of IT so that whenever my nurse needs something, I have a nursing experience and I can talk to my developer or a builder to tell them what I need in the system to change. Also, we do a lot of user requirements and develop solution. Wherever there is a need, we'll try to bring in the technology to help our nurses. Next slide, please. Um, Also, we are actually, and we do a lot of new hire training as well because we need to tell them and teach them our EHR system, different technologies we use in our hospital. We also actually touch a lot of policies because whenever we are bringing changes to our technology, we need to reflect that in our policy. So we are involved in doing that also. Also, we are big believer in evidence-based practice and research and seeing that what are the new tools out there that we can incorporate into our EHR so that we can better take care of our patient. Also, we have a vital role in testing and selecting new medical devices. So when I was leading a project where I was implementing barcoded medication administration, especially in the ED, nurses, they didn't like that because they are fast paced and they don't want it to scan the patient and scan the medication to deliver safe medication to our patient. So we really have to look at a solution that will really help my ED nurses, not taking away their time, but they have a technology they can use to scan the patient and scan the medication and follow all the 5 rights so that they can give medication safely to our patient. And when we're implementing these technologies, we are reducing medical errors because we know, and the cost, because one lawsuit can bring down a lot of money. So having this technology implemented will help us to reduce medical errors and cost. And also, patient care doesn't end at discharge, it continues. So we are part, and we also make sure we provide continuity of care to our patient. That way, when our patient come to us, we give them a login ID and password to their chart so that they can log in from home and access their informations like labs and education and the videos and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. If one would ask, like, what I need to do to become a nurse informatics specialist, so the requirements are you need to have a bachelor degree in nursing, and having a bedside nursing experience is a key because you know the workflows. And then you can have your master's degree with a nursing informatics specialty. And of course, you can do a certification after that. Also, you need to have a strong technical skills. I would suggest to brush up your knowledge on Microsoft tools such as PowerPoint, Excel, Word, and Access. Also, having a stronger leadership and project management skill is very helpful. I have worked as a charge nurse and a supervisor, and that really helped me to become a leader, as well as because you lead different projects, you having that project management skill is a plus. And also, you need to have a stronger communication, interpersonal skill because you're always in the meeting. Whenever you bring your new technology, you are actually promoting that, going into the conference room, telling your stakeholders how this technology is important to our or their role. And also, we are not only working with the nurses, but we are actually working with all the healthcare team members, such as pharmacy, social worker, case manager, physical therapy, everybody. So having that interpersonal skill is a plus as well. Next slide, please. So what are the job titles one can have? So as a nursing informatics specialist, you can have a role as a clinical informatics specialist or an analyst or a manager or the coordinator, director of nursing informatics, chief nursing informatics officer. Next, please. What are the challenges? So when I think about the challenges, I wanted to mention a different level. As a profession, as a professional challenge, I want to think that, and I don't like to say this, but it is the fact that nurses are very resistant to change. Whenever we bring new technology, you are going to get some kind of a negativism. But we have to be very tactful and use different strategies and let them make aware that, how this technology is going to benefit them. Another challenge I think of is nursing informatics role is kind of evolving. Not many people are aware of this role. So sometimes we really have to have let our organization know that we do exist, and then how we can make our nurses' life easy. Also, I want to say that being a nurse informatics specialist, it's a stressful job. People think it's like bedside nursing is hard, but even having this role is also stressful because you have to meet different deadlines, and then you have whenever you're leading a project, you have to actually put in extra hours and making sure your team is working with you, and that itself is a challenging task can happen. And as we talk about data, comes the security. So cyber security has always been a threat. So we are always looking at different things we can do so that we can keep this data safe. As a personal level, uh, thinking of the challenges is that there is a fear of losing clinical skill and judgment. I love being a bedside nurse, and that's why I still work as a per diem nurse so that I can keep my skill intact. And when we work as in this role, I used to work as a bedside nurse or a supervisor, and then I would work 3 days a week. So this is a great transition for me because I now work 5 days a week and I'm off 2 days, and making sure that having that work-life balance and going for the appointments and all that, we really have to be uh, consider and make sure that all the things are getting done when you're working Monday to Friday job as well. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so then how one can get started and how I started this one. I always wanted to do something different and touch many lives at the same time. That's why, and also my husband is also into IT, so he really suggested me that I'll be a good one to be a nurse informatics specialist. The things that led me to this role is we have a clinical informatics committee at our entity, so I was part of that and I was chairing that committee as well. Whenever there was a new technology, I would sign up to be a super user. I also did a shadowing with the nursing informatics specialist in the different hospital just to see and walk in their shoes and see if this is what I need to do. And then I enrolled myself in a program with a nursing informatics specialist. And then I became a member of couple of this association, and that really helped me to get my journey started. Next slide, please. I think um, I think that was the last slide I had. Let me check here for a minute. Yeah, I think that was the last slide. Last is any references, and if anybody has any question, and thank you again so much. Thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Aisha. So definitely all of us have seen this roller coaster ride of the nursing informatics also. So from all our speakers that we have heard today evening, we have come to know that nurse entrepreneur must not only have strong desire to help others in the nursing field, but they may also have the desire and the perseverance to create own business system that improves the lives of the patient and healthcare providers they wish to serve, and the ability to deal with the setback, failure, and the bad time. Though we all see they are their own bosses, that means they are accountable for the success and the failure of their ventures, and the income is often dependent on their successes. So definitely it's not a easy task, and each of us should evolve as a nurse, but keeping our basic fundamental of nursing in mind and being at the bedside. That is what we heard from most of our speakers, that they have kept the nursing intact with them and they're still working as nurses. With this, we come to the conclusion of this particular webinar. So I hand over to Ms. I first and foremost thank all the panelists for being present, especially Ms. Vandana, who's awake at this time of the night also and being with us, and all the panel members. And I now hand over to Ms. Devita for the further this. Ms. Devita.
Thank you, Madam Shobha. So it's a time to thank everyone.
Ma'am, there are two questions in the chat box, and those are directed to Madam Devashri Karande. So, ma'am can answer it in the chat box itself, if she can. Over to you, ma'am.
Ms. Kirti, I have already replied them privately.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
So it is a time to thank everyone. Invited guests, national, international panelists, heads of various hospitals, colleges, delegates, and my dear friends. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of Tarangan Alumni Association, Leelabai Thakursi College of Nursing, SNDT Women's University. I'm grateful to Madam Professor Shashikala Vanzari, Vice Chancellor, SNDT Women's University, for the guidance and constant support throughout the process of this program. We have been fortunate enough to have the support of Professor Vishnu Magre, Pro Vice Chancellor, SNDT Women's University, and Dr. Deepak Deshpande, Registrar, SNDT Women's University. We are grateful to you, sir. Our heartfelt gratitude to Sachi Gavai and her team for technical support. Special thanks to Ms. Indu Paulos, Nurse Manager, PD Hinduja Hospital and Research Center, for that lovely prayer dance. We are grateful to all the invited guests, eminent panelists, heads of different hospitals, colleges, and delegates for their presence. I thank Almighty God for showering His blessing throughout the process. Finally, I leave you this inspiring quote by Swami Vivekananda: "Arise, awake, and stop not until goal is achieved." Once again, thank you all. Now, with the permission from the authorities, I conclude this international webinar, but I request everyone to rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय